BOZ's response to Garcelle's post, "Not all skin folk are kin folk," was absolutely on point. In an interview, she said, "I didn't think it was about me until people started saying it was. Then I started doing the math, carry the 5, subtract the 7. Wait, where did I go wrong? Because here's the thing, unless Garcelle looks me in the eye and says, 'Girl, this is about you,' I'm leaving it where it is." Classic BOZ. She's not one to stir the pot or play the victim. In fact, she goes on to say, "One thing I've been really careful about, especially as a storyteller, is not to pit the two black girls against each other. People love to say, 'Oh, here comes another black girl, let's see her go,' and it's like, why is that? We're not the same. There's room for 4 white women, so why can't there be room for one more?" It's honestly such a refreshing take. BOZ is owning her space and her identity without letting anyone else try to dictate her narrative. She could have easily made this about herself, though let's be real, it was probably aimed at Anne-Marie, and at worst, possibly about both of them, especially with the timing being the day after the reunion. But instead, she shuts it down and doesn't let any doubts creep in. She trusts Garcelle and isn't about to entertain rumors. Honestly, the whole thing is a great example of BOZ being unapologetically herself. She doesn't bend to what people expect or want her to be, and she calls out the nonsense with perfect clarity. My only complaint, Keely, but that's for another time. Another thread, lol. I'm with you on this, she handled it beautifully. And yes, that post, definitely about 8.5. But who knows, maybe it could have been interpreted as about both, especially considering Garcelle and BOZ had words and she missed the group photo. But BOZ is secure enough in herself to not let the speculation fester. She trusts Garcelle and moves on. Also, the scene where BOZ was ready to push Mao into the ocean if Kyle wanted it. Absolutely hilarious. We all need a friend like that. Erika accusing anyone else of kicking someone when they're down. That's rich. Honestly, it's absurd that she thinks she has the right to even make that argument again. We'd almost managed to forget about all the chaos and then, boom, here she goes, dragging it all back up. I mean, seriously, how does she even think it's fair to compare Sutton's comments on a TV show to the fact that her entire lifestyle has been funded by stolen money from victims of horrific crimes? We all know she'd be nowhere without her marriage, and let's not pretend otherwise. It's a pretty stupid move for Erika to even bring that into the conversation. She had finally started being a little more fun, a little more bearable, and we were almost ready to forget the whole disaster. But nope, she had to remind us with her usual charm. Thanks for that, Erika. We won't ever forget the earrings, but you really didn't need to bring them up again. The clip where she pretended to be nice to Sutton, only to later say, "No, I was just playing you," was chef's kiss level petty. That's Erika in a nutshell, though fake, shady, and always ready to throw someone under the bus. And that's why I can't ever see her as anything but the snake she's proven herself to be. Honestly, I'm surprised no one has mentioned Marco on air yet. If I were Erika, I'd probably just keep quiet and hope the topic doesn't come up. And let's be real, I don't even think Sutton ever did kick her when she was down. Erika was acting super shady and Sutton, being a friend, had some questions. Real friends don't just sit there and ignore red flags. They ask questions, especially when someone is acting like an exposed fraud with serious anger issues. But honestly, I don't even think they're true friends. They're more like coworkers pretending to be friends, but whatever, same difference. Erika made this whole mess 10 times worse with her over-the-top reactions. She should own that, but we all know that's not going to happen. I ended up quitting the show this season because of Erika. I just couldn't take her endless, pointless comments and her ever-changing, fake voices. If she ever leaves, maybe I'll tune in again, but until then, I'm out. She completely ruined the show for me. It's clear she's still hurt that Sutton didn't just roll over and let her off the hook. I'm curious though, Does Erika want Sutton to apologize for that? Or is she still convinced she was right all along? So, for anyone still wondering, Kyle and Morgan are currently in Paris. How cute, right? Morgan's got a European tour coming up, and apparently, the stars aligned, and they're both in the same city at the same time. But hey, there's no situation, so let's all calm down. Except Garcelle, who clearly cares. I care. I roll. Coming out is a journey, people. Some take longer than others, and it's complicated, especially since Morgan doesn't want anything to do with reality TV. My guess? Kyle probably won't come back for next season, and then, voila, they'll go public with their relationship once Kyle's no longer a housewife. It's a whole process, all right? Now, some people might be all, just because they're in Paris doesn't mean they're dating. Sure, that's true. But let's not pretend their super obvious interactions on camera last season didn't scream new couple energy. They were practically flirting like teenagers. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, I'm not calling it a swan. And can we all just acknowledge the poor manager who's totally missing out on this juicy headline? Like, seriously, Morgan's manager doesn't even get a shout out here. As for Kyle and Morgan, neither one's posting about this Paris rendezvous well, except for Kyle's casual "Hey, I'm in Paris" post, but of course, no mention of who she's with. There's no paparazzi lurking either. So seriously, if I see one more person accuse them of attention-seeking, I will scream. It's honestly wild how entitled people feel to dig into their leaves. Morgan's not even a housewife, people. She's not on the show, and she's made it clear to Kyle that she wants no part of it. So, guess what? Kyle's respecting that. Crazy, right? Look, I get it. People feel like they deserve to know everything about Kyle, but they don't get to dictate Morgan's life. Period. And this includes Garcelle, who really needs to just let it go. What's truly bizarre here is the obsession over someone else's sexuality. Newsflash. No one owes anyone an explanation about who they're dating or what they're discovering about themselves. Anyone demanding those details is frankly being entitled. And, let's be honest, it's just creepy to care about who someone's sleeping with at night. By the way, I'm off to New York with my bestie in 5 weeks. Not lesbians. Just friends on a girls' trip. Shocking, I know. But see, just because Kyle and Morgan are in Paris doesn't automatically mean they're an item. They could be, sure, but that's not proof of a situation. Now, before anyone starts the double standard argument, yeah, Kyle would probably be all over someone else spilling the beans. But here's the thing. What people are actually asking Kyle to do is come out as a lesbian. That's a huge deal, especially when you come from a conservative family. Admitting to your sexuality is not something anyone should be pressured into, no matter how public their relationship may seem. I have a feeling Kyle's trying to protect Morgan's privacy, and maybe she's still trying to figure things out for herself. People will argue that if she's not ready to come out, she shouldn't be on the show, and hey, maybe they have a point. But no one should be forced to reveal their sexuality. When Kyle's ready, it's going to be one heck of a story. So, Erika's voice is completely different now. I mean, come on, it's like a whole new person. I'm rewatching the seasons because let's be real, this new season is a bit of a snooze fest. Season 6 just dropped and Erika's transformation is something else. Visually, sure, I expected the glow up, but her voice, her mannerisms, that's a whole other story. She sounds softer. Is sweet the word? I don't know, it's just not the Erika I'm used to. It's almost like, season after season, the woman has just hardened up, and looking at her then versus now, it's obvious she's put up walls for self-preservation. Just a little observation there. It's almost like, as she gained wisdom and independence, especially after leaving her husband, who, let's be honest, probably had her pretending to be the picture of delicate femininity, she finally dropped the mask and started showing up as her true self. Could this be real, or just the result of too many years of playing the part? Who's to say? Oh, and before anyone jumps in with the depression can make voices deeper theory, trust me, I see it. Her voice definitely got a lot deeper post-divorce, and now that she's on antidepressants. Hello, lighter tone. For a little context, I decided to binge-watch the whole show this winter, never seen it before. Then I jumped into the current season just to stay in the loop. Let me tell you, every single one of these women, but especially Kyle and Erika, have seriously lowered their voices. Aging anyone. Or maybe this is just what happens when you're constantly on camera. No? Oh, and Erika? I have this suspicion she was smoking her way through that divorce. Just a theory. What do we think? Is Andy Cohen up to no good? Or is he just living his best sociopath fantasy? Honestly, sometimes he gives off major sociopath vibes. I'm currently rewatching the Season 7 reunions, and let me tell you, his sheer delight in pitting these women against each other is downright terrifying. It's hard to say what's worse, the way he stirs the pot, or the fact that he clearly enjoys every minute of it. I want the bunny. But, aren't we all kind of doing the same thing here? Aren't most people in these forums getting a little too much pleasure from watching these women rip each other apart? Sure, Andy's definitely got a shady side, but is it really worse than any other reality TV producer? Maybe he's just really good at playing the PR game, and let's be real, that's totally possible. From what I've heard, the worst thing he's done behind the scenes is invite people to do a line before the show. But again, I'm not some Andy Cohen superfan, so I could be wrong. And compared to other reality shows, Andy's practically a saint. I'm sure, as a producer, all Andy really wants is for the women to hold hands, braid each other's hair, and share a good laugh. He's basically just like us, watching this mess unfold and loving every second. Have you seen him in the first reunions of Atlanta? He's practically giddy, smirking, smiling, dropping his jaw, and covering up his giggles with his note cards. Andy leaves for the juicy, messy drama between women. Always has. Honestly, those early seasons were peak Housewives TV. Now, it's just not the same. And as for Sutton and Garcelle, I'm worried about their friendship. So we've seen them have a tiff, and Garcelle is clearly upset, but Sutton doesn't seem to get why. And that's just heartbreaking. I know, filming wrapped months ago, but it's hard not to notice that neither Sutton nor Garcelle has liked each other's IG posts in almost 2 weeks. They've always liked each other's posts before. In fact, Garcelle's still getting love from Avi and Jennifer, but no likes from Sutton. Oh, and Sutton liked Kyle's post today. And yes, I know I'm spending way too much time analyzing this, but I feel you. Every time Brandy pops up on my screen, I have to brace myself with a deep, dramatic sigh. Every franchise has that one housewife who makes me question my life choices. For RHOBH, it's Kenya, Robin, Rossulk, Lisa, and now for RHOBH, it's Brandy. Look, I'm not going to dive into the details of my dislike. I'll spare you the rant, but it's definitely a thing. This is my first time watching, and it feels like a test of patience, just like with every other franchise. So, when does she officially get booted? I need something to look forward to. Good news, Brandy officially dips out as a full-time cast member after Season 5. But before you start celebrating too early, she does make a guest appearance in Season 6 and Tenye.